Hi guys, welcome to another Divi Theme video. This is Jamie from System22 and webdesignandtechtips.com. Well, here's a useful little feature. We've got a button here. When I click on it, it's going to open up a little privacy policy. If I click on it again, it's going to disappear. And that's just on the page, just down here. Really useful little feature. You don't have to use a privacy policy. You can pop up any element you want. I could pop up this gallery if I wanted to. Now what I did to get this done today, I actually asked ChatGPT to write the JS code to make an element hide or show on button click. This is what it came up with. And it worked pretty well. I had to modify it slightly. And I'll show you exactly how it's done. So let's get started. I'm going to enable the Visual Builder. Once enabled, let's go down. I'm going to delete everything I've got here. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go to wireframe mode, hit the little purple button, little icon left hand side, wireframe view. That'll take us to the back end because I've actually got this section hidden on the front view. So, or this row I should say. So let's get rid of that code module and let's get rid of this row. And I'll add a new row. I'm going to use a single column for mine. Funnily enough, we're going to use a code module as we're doing some code today. Okay, I'm going to copy that code that ChatGPT gave me and I'll paste it in here. And for anybody that wants it, I'll put a link to a download. I can't put this down below the video because of the pointy brackets and things. But if anybody wants to download this code, I'll make it available. Okay, well that's pretty interesting. Let's just save this and see what that's actually given us. I'm going to save this. I'm going to save my page changes. And let's exit the Visual Builder. And if we roll down, there's what it's given us. It's given us a little button with a little bit of text underneath. When I toggle it, it's going to appear and disappear. So it's functioning kind of like I want it to. But I want to apply it to a real world situation. Also, I want that button to be styled a bit more like one of our Elegant Themes buttons or my default Elegant Theme styling. Now while we're on the front end, I've got a button down here which is my default styling. If I inspect it, I'm using Google Chrome here with the inspector tools. Most browsers have this nowadays. We can see that it's got a class name. To make our new button have the same style as our Elegant Theme one, all I have to do is give it that class name. So let's double click on here. Class name, gap. Every time there's a gap, that's a different class name. Different class name again. So I just need EP PB button 1. So I'm going to copy that. Let's close this up and we'll enable our Visual Builder again. So let's go down here. We'll go back into our little code module. And if we look at this code, here's the button itself, button ID of toggle button. That's what it's saying, toggle element in the white writing there. And here's the div ID that it was popping up. And it's got an ID of element to toggle. So we just have to give this ID to anything that we want it to pop up. And I'll do that in a moment. But to make this an Elegant Themes or a Divi type button, we just need to give it a class name. So I'm going to say class equals, open and close some inverted commas, and inside I'll paste that class name that I just copied. And as you can see, it's styled it. Now I'm going to create something to pop up with this. I'm going to create a little privacy policy. So I'm going to change the toggle element, as you can see there, to just say something like privacy or privacy policy, whatever you want yours to say. That's fine. I don't need this here, but I do need that class name for when we add our privacy policy. So I'm actually going to get rid of all this. I've got this ID down here. I think I called it class name just now. It's an ID. And I've got it down here in the script. And what the script is saying is it's getting an element by ID, toggle button. So that's this button here. As we see, it's got a class of toggle button up here. The function is click. And when it clicks, it's going to get an element by the ID of element to toggle. And it's saying if the element is displayed and you click it, it's going to make it disappear. If it's not, else, when you click it, it's going to make it appear. Great. So we can get rid of all this little bit underneath there. I want to pop this button in the middle. The easiest way I've found to do this with a code module is to go down to the sizing. Let's see how wide this button is. I'm going to guess, let's say 150 pixels, 150px. Too short obviously because it's broken it. Let's just scroll up until it's about the size that we want. Let's try 160. Still not quite. Let's toggle up with our little arrows right here. Okay, well it's about 165 pix. Now what I can do is just pop it in the middle. There we go, I got my button in the middle there. Fantastic. Well, let's create the element that we want to pop up. To do this, I'm going to add a new row, a little green button for a row. Inside that row, I'm going to put a single column. And like I say, you can do this to a section, you can do it to whatever you want. I'm just happening to do it to a little privacy policy row here. I'm going to use a call to action without a button, purely because it's got a title and a bit of script there. I'm going to grab my privacy policy text here, put it in there, and a little title up here. There we go. I'm going to have it left aligned, this text, I think, so I'm going to hit the little paintbrush to go straight to the text. Just going to left align that. And similar for the title, I'm going to hit the little paintbrush, take it straight to the title. Let's make that perhaps semi-bold. That's fine where it is. I think I'd like a bit more gap between them. So to do that, in the content, back to the text, I'm just going to hit my return key at the top there. Brilliant. If we scroll down, I'm going to change that background color out. I'm not too keen on that. Don't want black, but I want pretty close to it. So I'm going to hit the little 3 dots to bring up the palette. And that'll work perfectly. Great. So there's our little privacy policy. Let's just look back at our button here, or our code module, and the ID that we want to give this, or the row that it's in, or whatever it is you want to hide and show, is element to toggle. Okay, now I've got that. I think I'll do it in the row. You could do it in the actual module itself if you wanted to, but I'm going to use the row for this today. Green tab, I'm going to go in there, and this is always where you will find CSS IDs and classes on any module, row or section. Over to the advanced tab, CSS IDs and classes. It's an ID, make sure you put this in the ID and not the class. And there it is, element to toggle. But initially, I don't want this to be there at all. I only want it to be there if people click on the button. So to make that happen, I've just got to write one tiny little line of code, still in the advanced, just down below in the custom CSS. I'm going to say display, none. As you can see, or as you can't see because it's not there, it's disappeared. Great. Well, let's see what happens now. Everything should kind of work now. We'll see. We'll save our changes. Save the page changes. And exit the Visual Builder. Okay, if we roll down now, there's our little privacy policy button. If I click on it, nothing's happening. If I click on it again, our privacy policy is popping up. Well, that's kind of okay, but I don't want to have to click twice. Now every time I click it, it's going to disappear, reappear, disappear, reappear. But if I refresh that page again, what I don't like is having to click twice initially. I just want to click once. I mean, most people are going to click twice if it doesn't happen first time, but I don't want that. I want it to work correctly. So it's a very simple little tweak we can do here. Let's enable the Visual Builder. And obviously, depending on whether you want to hide it or show it initially, it's up to you if you put that display none in. So let's go to back-end mode again. Because we got hidden elements, it's just easier to do this way. We'll go into our code module. I know our code module was showing there. What I'm actually going to do to make this happen on one click instead of two initially, I'm going to switch around the if and the else. Where it says none, I'm going to put that to block. Where it says block, I'm going to put that to none. So let's do that. Make sure you don't cut off those little inverted commas there. So that says none. I'm going to change that to block. This one says block. I'm going to change it to none. And again, none to block. For anybody that doesn't know, display none, obviously you don't want to see it. Display block means you do want to see it. It's going to display as it should. Let's save our changes now. Save the page changes. And we'll exit the Visual Builder. We'll roll on down. There's our button. Hopefully, first click should open it this time. And there we are. One click, one click. That's working absolutely perfectly. Like I say, you can put this on any element that you want. And I'll demonstrate that if you want. I'm sure a lot of you can figure out how to do that, but for anybody that can't, let's go in there. And let's perhaps pop up this gallery instead of our little privacy policy. So again, I'm going to go to back-end mode. I'm going to unhide what we've got going on there. And let's change it from privacy policy to gallery. No, I don't need to change anything else. I'm going to get that CSS ID again. And let's save that. I'm going to unhide our little privacy policy here. So we did that in the row. Custom CSS. I'm just going to delete the display none. And let's do it to the gallery. Here's the gallery. I've got a little button in there. We'll leave that as it is. In fact, let's just delete that button. I'll use the row again. You could use the gallery itself if you wanted to, or you could use the whole section. Well, for fun, let's just do it in the section this time. Blue tab for section. We're going to go in there. Again, CSS IDs and classes. I'm going to give it that ID name. And again, I want to hide it initially. So I'm going to go down, main element, custom CSS. Simply display colon none. Okay, well, let's save our changes now. Before I exit, let's grab our little button. I'm going to pop it below the privacy policy there, so it's on top of where the gallery is going to pop up. Let's save our changes. Exit the Visual Builder. Roll on down. There's a privacy policy, no longer hidden. Here's our little gallery button there. If I click on it, our little gallery pops up there. If I click again, gallery disappears. And you can make that gallery fixed position if you wanted to and have it pop up in the middle of the screen. Entirely up to you. So there you go, guys. There's how to hide and show any element on button click using the Divi theme. This will actually work in any theme you want, but that works perfectly in our Divi theme today on single click. So there you have it, guys. I hope you've enjoyed this today and found it useful. If you have, please give it a thumbs up, ring the bell, comment, share, and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Once again, this has been Jamie from System22 and webdesignandtechtips.com. Thanks for watching. Have a great day.